Hello, and welcome, friends. Before we get into the mistakes that we're here for, I did buy some Ben DiNucci rookie cards. We saw that Dak had a horrendous injury today. That was pretty awful. I don't know if you saw it, but his leg basically looked like a bunch of Play-Doh and rubber. It kind of reminded me of when Paul George's bone stuck out and tried to smack somebody in the face. He just ran into the pole or whatever. It was horrible. But anyway, let's get into the things that you're probably doing to lose a bunch of money, flipping, sports card investing, whatever the strategy that you're implementing is. One, buying into the hype rather than selling. You ever hear about a fresh card and you just get some news and then you go to eBay and you try to buy a bunch of them. You get this one for 8 and this one for 9, and then you realize, hey, these already went up. I should have been here earlier, or I missed out on the train. So it's important for you to sell into the hype rather than buy. So the way you do that is you're there before other people, and that's going to lead to better research. The more you can research, the more you can get in early. When the hype hits, boom, you can be the one sending the shot. Got your Red Ryder. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Bam, right there. Boom, got him there. He paid 12. He paid 15. Be that guy. So try to get into that, the process of selling into the hype rather than buying. Sometimes it's good to buy the hype. Don't get me wrong. The hype is there for a reason, but you got to consider how long that is going to last. And that's another thing we're leading to here is over investing. Sometimes I'll see people go and they'll go crazy, and I'll do it myself. And, we'll see a guy is about to be hot, or we'll do some research and we're like, all right, I'm going to buy 40 of these. And then we end up only selling like 10 or 15 at a good profit and being stuck with like 20 or 30 of them. So you got to think about how hot this character is going to be and for how long. Is it something that's going to last for a while, like the bubble playoffs where there's going to be a bunch of games, or is it just like a flash in the pan and it's going to be over soon, so maybe you buy 10 of them so you can flip 10 of them. You got to think about how long the hype is going to last and how hot it's going to be so you don't over invest. You don't want to end up with a bunch of extras that you can't do anything with. So send some off for grading, whatever else. That's one way to do it. Another thing, not selling in lots. That's number 3. When you do end up having a few too many of a card, or if you already had a bunch and a guy suddenly turns hot, then you can put them up in lots, and that will get you less money than the average price because you're putting it up in a lot, so people are going to expect a discount, not pay full retail for each one, but you'll be able to sell more cards in that lot format. So, for instance, I have a bunch of Brook Lopez rookie cards, probably about like 100 of them or something. I don't even know where they came from, a collection that I bought, and I'm just waiting. They're not really worth selling right now, but if that opportunity presents itself, Brook Lopez is out the door, and I'm not going to try to sell them individually. We're definitely going to put them up in a lot, or, a lot of 10, something like that, something digestible for the person who is buying. So that's what I'm saying. You're selling into the hype. All right, number 4, not using local sites. I don't know if Craigslist or OfferUp or LetGo, whatever it is popular in your area, but there are deals to be found on these sites, both selling and buying. I've bought things on there for $40 and made $1,500 back. And it's not that difficult, and it doesn't happen that often, but it will happen. You can do that probably once or twice a month if you're lucky. But you got to be using that to buy and to sell because people will buy on there. And it's an artificial environment. You're dealing with people who are specifically in your area or the surrounding areas rather than the eBay marketplace. So it's a different sort of format where people are buying and selling different cards and have different interests. Number 5, not grading cards. The highest ROI that you can get on cards, let's face it, is buying a raw card, sending it through grading, getting a good grade, it comes back, and then you sell it again on the same marketplace or wherever. So that is the highest ROI for a card, is getting it graded and then sending it back into the pool of buyers. And if you're not doing this because you either don't know how or you just haven't gotten into it, yes, flipping raw cards is good. It's all well and fine. I love it. I'm a big fan and proponent of the raw cards, but you really do need to take advantage of grading. It's an investment in time, but it's the highest ROI. So even if you have a small bankroll for it and you can only send in 20 cards or something, also don't forget that they don't charge you until they're about to send the cards back. So let's say you were dead broke and you had no money and you could send off $1,000 worth of cards to be graded. If that was going to come back and it was going to be worth $5,000, and they're like, all right, we're going to send those cards, you got to have that 1,000, you could always just tap somebody on the shoulder and be like, yo man, I need to borrow $1,000 so I can get this $5,000. I don't have any, but you'll be paid back first. So if you were in like the dire straits situation, you could probably still work it out with somebody that you know, a family member, a friend, whatever. So I'm not saying that you should go into debt to do this. I'm just saying that you can go ahead and send some cards in that you should be able to pay for. But if something happened, an emergency, whatever, you would probably be able to work it out or facilitate it with someone that you knew to take care of yourself. Grading is important. Number 6, bad eBay listing titles and pictures. These are visual stimulants and they are SEO stimulants. Visually, how the hell are you going to sell a card if it looks like somebody took a dump on it? If it looks like somebody just scratched the living hell out of it like it was an Etch-a-Sketch for some 3-year-olds? You know what I mean? It ain't a Cabbage Patch Kid situation. You need to have a good-looking picture. It has to be clean, clear, and crisp like a sparkling blue ocean, like you were out in the Caribbean taking pictures. Bam! That's the way it works. I mean, geez, man. And the SEO stimulants, you got to have a good listing title, not just flap it 1985 Mark McGuire. No, you want every bit. You want the number of the card. You want the condition of the card abbreviated. You want everything that you can possibly get in there that makes sense. Things that people are going to search for. If they're not going to search for it, then don't put it in the title unless you just have extra space and there's nothing to really put in there. You know, you don't need the color of his hair. Blue-eyed, Mark McGuire. You know, nobody cares. Ain't nobody looking at his eyes unless you're trying to get all twinkly with it. He don't need a carnation from you, prom. I'm just trying to tell you that a good picture and a good listing title will get you better attention and more sales and make you more money. So try to practice. Take a look at someone who has success on eBay. Look through the pictures and say, hey, this one looks nice. Let me try to emulate this one. Look through the titles, and when you guys are doing the title thing, you don't just want to grab somebody. I know a lot of people use the sell one like this option, and then they leave a title with like all these caps everywhere. Take the time to go through there and fix it, so you don't just have all caps like you just face rolled that shit. It doesn't look good, and it looks really inconsistent with the rest of your listings. But that might just be me. I'm OCD about having things set up in a specific format, but that could just be me. Number 7, not learning other markets. When I started doing this flipping shit, I didn't know vinyl records were amazing. I knew they were good, but I didn't know how good they were from an ROI perspective. I didn't know how good. And then you have action figures, you know, whatever it is. Model trains, I didn't know anything about model trains other than my aunt put them under the Christmas tree when I was a kid. And I was constantly like, why is this in the way of more presents? And can I get another cookie? So if you guys want to learn more markets, it's very beneficial to you. You hear me talk about it all the time. First time I bought model trains, I went and some dude had a bunch for 50 cents a piece. I didn't know some were engines and made it go and some were just dummy cars, or they were called reefer. I mean, I knew about reefer, but I didn't know that that was short for refrigerator car. I know the refrigerator, but I know there's a short distance between me and the refrigerator. You know, let's not kid yourselves. But the guy wanted 50 cents a piece, and then he had one set that he was really attached to when he was a kid that he wanted like $45. I didn't go for that, but I bought all the rest for 50 cents, and I found out that a lot of them were selling for like $19 or $20. I took a gamble, made a bunch off of that, and model trains became something that we're now looking for. So if you're not into other markets, get in other markets. You guys are going to hear me say it time and time again. I don't care if it's sneakers, action figures, comic books, sports cards, coins, whatever collectibles that you're into, whatever that might interest you, or even if it doesn't, if there's a lot of it in your area, if it's popular in your area, go on and get in there, man. Don't be afraid. It's okay to be an adult and play around in the toys at McDonald's. You know, you go in there, everybody, you know, when you was a kid and you went to Chuck E. Cheese, you crawled around in the cheese. Well, go ahead and crawl around in the cheese, man. Number 8, not doing your own research. Everybody has to own their own results. If I tell you, hey, go buy Ben DiNucci, and you go spend $1,000 on them, and then you complain about it, well, you spent $1,000 because you told me to. Well, shit, man, if that was the case, I should have just told you to give me the $1,000, and I would have had a much better time than watching you lose it on Ben DiNucci, idiot. So yeah, you have to own your own results. If somebody comes up in the video, it's good to do research. It's good for entertainment, which is why I like to throw a little joke in here and there, maybe get a laugh out of you or something like that. Take away a little bit of the pain and suffering of your day as you look around your life and you're like, man, this video is better than whatever's going on around here. And maybe it's not, and that's okay too. We're all here together. But the whole point is that if you're not doing your own research, you're doing yourself a disservice. So it's good to listen to videos. It's good to see what's hot. Follow Twitter, follow news, see what the new news is, what's happening out there. LeBron just won a championship. Are his cards going up, or are they going to tank because people already expected it, and now everybody's going to rush to sell those LeBrons that they were waiting to sell, so they get overproduced for a short period of time into people that already expected him to win. So is his card going to go up? It might just stay even, or it might go down for a bit, and then later it'll go back up because the man is a beast. So you got to do your own research. You got to own your own results. Again, it's always good. Very important. And then the last but not least today, number 9, and that is not being open-minded to change. You guys have to be open-minded. The power of acceptance, we'll talk about that later. But if you're not open-minded to changing, then you're going to be stagnant. You've got to be able to do whatever the best that you can do is for what you're essentially trying to accomplish, whether it's flipping, whether it's just holding, just investing, only grading, whatever the specific area of the hobby that you're interested in and invested in, you have to be open-minded. If you're like, I'm not going to change my eBay titles, they sell, my listings sell, you're not going to make as much as somebody who's open-minded, somebody who accepts change, So try to be the better version of yourself. What could you do tomorrow that was better than what you did today? There has to be something that you ate, something that you said, a relationship you have with a loved one or some friend that you haven't talked to in a while, a buy that you made that you weren't sure about, a card that you didn't send to get graded that you should have, something that you didn't do that you should have done. You can be better than you are now. So that is what you want to do. You want to be open-minded to changing the things that aren't the best, and you want to strive to be a better you. Every single one of us can do this. If you guys are down with this and you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the ball notifications, and I hope you have a magical Johnson on the flip side.